and at Lakeshore High School. There are kids that have not engaged at the level that we'd like them to. And I want to say, Mike, that the number is less than 5 of students that we just can't connect with. We just can't get a hold of anybody. And obviously that's a concern. But aside from that, it's kind of hit and miss with some kids. And attendance was, a struggle for some of these students prior to it. But making sure that, at that high school level that we're keeping kids engaged. We want to make sure that they understand the message that credit is to be earned. It's not just going to be given. And before people just kind of tap out and say the school year is over with. And again, not just for the benefit of earning credit. We can give everyone credit or not give everyone credit. That's not the issue. It's about making sure that kids don't go 6 months without engaging their minds. We want to make sure that kids are moving things along for their mental health, for their academic well-being as well.
All right, thanks, Joe. I appreciate it. Turn it back over to you, President Bartle.
Okay, thank you. All right, I don't think that we have Kurt back, but we'll give it one more try. Mr. Ziegler, are you with us? He is not. When we regroup with him, we'll give him a chance if we haven't already covered his questions. Okay, so we're going to move on to item number 6A, resolution of recognition and appreciation. Before asking for a motion, I will read the resolution. All right. Whereas the COVID-19 pandemic of 2020 has created disruption to all facets of life for people in Michigan across the United States and around the world. Whereas individuals in our community who are deemed essential workers have put themselves at risk in order to provide in-person services that are necessary to sustain or protect life. And whereas they have made sacrifices that impact not only themselves, but their family to sustain our critical infrastructure. And whereas we as members of the Lakeshore Public Schools Board of Education wish to extend our utmost appreciation and thanks to those individuals for their willingness to serve the community of St. Clair Shores in general and Lakeshore Public Schools in particular. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Lakeshore Public Schools Board of Education recognizes and appreciates the service of our essential workers and wishes to make that recognition and appreciation a matter of public record for prosperity, and further, that the Lakeshore Public Schools Board of Education directs this resolution of appreciation and support to be duly recorded and spread across the minutes of the Lakeshore Public Schools Board of Education on this 27th day of April, year 2020. So having shared that, can I get a motion? Wishes to make that recognition and appreciation a matter of public record. All right, Josh Densler with a motion, support by Dan Colling. Ms. Munger, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Colling.
Aye.
Mr. Densler.
Aye.
Mr. Bakotic.
Aye.
Mrs. Bartle.
Aye.
Mrs. Munger, aye. Mrs. DeLong is absent, and I believe we have Kurt back. Kurt, we're voting on the resolution 6A. He verbally gave a thumbs up. He's having a hard time not getting volume or not being able to use his microphone, I believe.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Kurt. Thanks, Ms. Munger. Okay.
We're voting on.
So we are going to move to item 6B, suspension of board and handbook policies and conflict with the governor's executive order. And I just need to scroll forward a little bit. So in accordance with the governor's executive order 2020-35, it's recommended that the Lakeshore Board of Education suspend board and handbook policies related to graduation, promotion, and retention to align with the order. Any questions or comments? Okay. Can I get a motion, please?
So move.
Support.
All right, motion by Mr. Densler, supported by Mr. Colling. And Ms. Munger, a roll call vote again, please.
Mrs. Bartle,
Aye.
Mr. Ziegler. Thumbs up for an aye. Mrs. Munger, aye. Mrs. DeLong is absent. Mr. Colling,
Aye.
Mr. Densler,
Aye.
and Mr. Bakotic.
Aye.
All right, we are going to move to item number 6C, the consent agenda. Can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Support.
All right, motion by Ms. Munger, support by Mr. Densler. Any comments or questions? All right, there being none, Ms. Munger, a roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Bartle,
Aye.
Mr. Ziegler. Thumbs up for an aye. Mrs. Munger, aye. Mrs. DeLong is absent. Mr. Colling,
Aye.
Mr. Densler,
Aye.
and Mr. Bakotic.
Aye.
All right, thank you, guys. All right, we are on to item 6D, the personnel report. Dr. Lewis.
Move to approve the following personnel report. AFSCME, Local 1217. Move to accept the retirement of Lynn Nagerson, cook leader, Lakeshore High School. Retirement effective June 30th, 2020, after 27 years of service. Move to accept the employment of Sarah Rangel, food service worker, Kennedy Middle School, effective March 9th, 2020. She'll be placed at AFSCME Cafeteria Step 1. Lakeshore Federation of Educational Secretaries, move to accept the retirement of Janet Kraft, Elementary Principal Secretary, Masonic Heights Elementary. Retirement effective June 19th, 2020, after 22 years of service. Lakeshore Federation of Support Staff, Ivy Mainhart, lunchroom monitor, Rogers Elementary, effective March 12th, 2020, Class A, Step 1. Lakeshore Federation of Teachers, Michelle Anderson, Special Ed Teacher Consultant, Lakeshore High School, resignation effective August 1st, 2020. Heather Dunlop, Secondary Teacher, Kennedy Middle School, retirement effective June 30th, 2020, after 23 years of service. Robin Cutney, Secondary Teacher, Lakeshore High School, Phys Ed Teacher, retirement effective June 30th, 2020, after 26 years of service. Ann Lucchese McFadden, Counselor, Lakeshore High School, retirement effective July 1st, 2020, after 14 years of service in Lakeshore. And Mario Rosenthal, Secondary Teacher, Kennedy Middle School, retirement effective June 30th, 2020, after 19 years of service.
All right, we have a little feedback that we tried to. First, could you mute, please? Okay, that was it. Thank you. All right. That was a lengthy report. At this point, can we get a motion, please?
So moved.
Support.
All right, motion by Mr. Colling, support by Mr. Densler. Any questions or comments?
That wasn't me. Was that me?
That
Michael?
was me, yep.
Okay, sorry, Pat, you got that correction? All right. Any comments or questions? Okay, there being none, a roll call vote, Mrs. Munger.
Okay, Mrs. Bartle,
Aye.
Mr. Ziegler,
Aye.
Mrs. Munger, aye. Mrs. DeLong is absent. Mr. Colling,
Aye.
Mr. Densler,
Aye.
and Mr. Bakotic.
Aye.
All right. This is definitely different. I much prefer the personnel report when we're face-to-face and can see people. But without that opportunity, I would like to welcome Sarah and Ivy and best wishes to Lynn, Janet, Michelle, Heather, Robin, Ann, and Maria. We certainly appreciate your years of service to Lakeshore and wish you well on your future adventures. And Dr. Lewis, I think you mentioned that some of them may actually be attending tonight. Do you know if that is the case?
Yeah, I will echo that sentiment. It would be certainly our preference to be able to see people face to face and thank them for their service. We do know that Lynn, Heather, Ann, Robin, and Maria and Jan are joining us tonight, and possibly Michelle Anderson, who's resigning and accepting an administrative position in another district. So we thank them all for their service in Lakeshore.
Thank you.
Hey, can I just jump in for a second? I'm so
Please.
sorry. I know this is out of process.
It's okay.
I just wanted to, so this personnel report hit me kind of hard, and I wasn't going to say anything. And then knowing that there's some folks in the audience. So particularly, I look at Maria Malkovich. Her last name's not Rosenthal because she's always going to be Miss Malkovich. I had the pleasure of going to China twice with Maria. I've considered her a good friend and one of my just most favorite teachers since I've had her on all of 7th grade many moons ago. And so just want to recognize her. And then of course, Mrs. Cutney, I think there are going to be some real devastated students that know that Mrs. K isn't coming back, because she's just one of those presences around the high school that is just so absolutely warm and welcoming. I never had her as a teacher, and every time I see her, she still greets me with a smile and a giant hug. So just definitely we're gonna miss all of those that are leaving. I mean, Michelle Anderson is a phenomenal educator, and we're gonna miss her as well. But just those couple really grab my heart. So thank you all for your dedication to your fellow staff, to our students. Thank you for serving this district so excellently. Sorry, I jumped in without the chat, but if anyone was going to do it, it would be me. I yield the floor back to Mrs. Bartle.
Thank you, Joshua. No problem. Okay. Item 7A is board member commentary, and we do have our student reps participating tonight. So Isabella or Kenneth, whichever one wants to go first, please.
Hi. I don't really have much to say, but this whole experience has been pretty hard, especially as a senior, but I know our district is doing like everything they can to ensure that we get the most of our senior year. And I'm just really grateful for that. And I hope we get to still experience these events. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm doing quite well. I'm definitely bummed I don't get my track season, or I definitely do miss my teachers, my community, and all the students, but I'm just trying to stay positive and stay active during this time. And I'm just looking forward to my senior year. So I hope you all are doing well, and I miss you very dearly. So have a good night.
Thank you both for being here, and I just wish we could change this for you. It really does break our hearts that this is the circumstance, and this is not how anybody wants to end any school year, and certainly not a senior year. So I wish I could change it, but thank you guys for your participation. We appreciate that. All right, the board is going to have a collective message tonight, but before we get there, I believe that Mr. Colling has a request to make of the board.
That's right. Thank you. So I was just thinking about this as the Lakeshore Foundation had to unfortunately cancel March Madness this year, and who knows if we're going to be able to have the golf outing as originally planned in June. With those two events being kind of the major sources of funding for the foundation, I'd like to request that the board, all of us individually, make a gift to the foundation, whether it be through your quarterly board paycheck, or if you'd like to make a one-time gift. I know Jack, if you get in touch with him, he can help you make that happen. So I'd like to just personally make that request, because obviously the foundation does so many great things for our students and for our teachers. And they're going through a tough time as all of us are. So just to remember them as part of the community and to support them, it'd be great if we could all extend something and help them out at this time. Thanks.
All right, I think that's a great idea, and appreciate your thoughts on that, Daniel. That definitely came directly from you, and we appreciate that.
I'd like to just personally make that request.
All right, before we move to our board statement, does